All right, and we're back. Part 2. Now we move on to the rest of Hell in a Cell's card.
Before we do, Jack, I wanted to make something real. I wanted to shout out something real specific I knew we might gloss over. Did you see that Skittles commercial with the Street Profits?
Oh, yeah.
And Ric Flair. So Ric Flair is making ring gear for... what are their names?
Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford.
Right, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. And it was hilarious. You know, the WWE tries so often to be hilarious. When they get it right, I need to applaud them.
Yeah.
And it's a tag team who are they defending their title? Are they fighting a division worth of capable challengers? No, they're on a skills commercial.
Yeah, you know, when both teams got drafted, yeah, you know, they were Raw champions, New Day was SmackDown champions, and what happened? Oh, well, the Raw tag team got drafted to SmackDown, the SmackDown tag team got drafted to Raw. Oh, well, what does that mean? Are we going to get the belts unified? Oh, no, we're just going to have them swap it on TV.
Literally trade.
I'm pretty sure the Street Profits, in terms of since the brand split, I think they've held the Raw tag titles for the most days. So
yes.
You look at it and it's like, well, so you think about it, their record Raw tag title reigns, how did it end? Oh, they swapped it and became SmackDown tag titles. Or tag champions.
That's in history now. That's written somewhere for people to read.
You know what's funny? They swapped uniform colors too.
What the?
You didn't notice? They now come out in blue.
Oh, well, they're on SmackDown.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like they went with the whole thing. They said, all right, we're on SmackDown. Like we're going all the way.
It's absurd, right? Like there's nothing written, but it has to be for some reason. Kane didn't switch up his gear every Thursday, right?
Right. But they're buying the whole thing. They're buying into the whole thing, you know?
Yeah. How funny.
I will say though, before we move on, the best part of that commercial though that was really funny was they cut and you just see Montez Ford essentially dressed up as the Ultimate Warrior.
Right.
That was really entertaining.
Angelo Dawkins being dressed up as Naomi.
Yeah.
And he's just not having it. He's just like, no. Well, let's cool Jack off. Let's transition to a match and away from this talk about WWE's mismanagement of tag teams. This match, ladies and gentlemen, started off with a tag team, and they split up. It's Sasha Banks challenging Bayley for her SmackDown Women's Championship in Hell in a Cell.
You know, I'm not a fan of either character, you know?
Yeah.
So, to me, it was like, who do I really want to win in this, you know?
Jack, going in, who'd you want to win?
You know, I mentioned this to my dad before the match, or as they were making their entrances, you know, I told him, you know, I've never really been a fan of the Four Horsewomen, you know?
Yeah.
At least because of, like, my personal preferences when it comes to wrestling. You know, I like a lot of different styles. And to me, when it comes to women's wrestling, like, the four Horsewomen don't really, I guess you say, fit my preferences for women's wrestling a lot.
Okay.
But, you know, I told my dad, you know, as much as I don't like Charlotte and Bayley just because, like, usually their characters don't interest me or their wrestling styles, I at least have a lot of appreciation for Banks and Lynch just because I know they can put on a match I will at least enjoy.
Yeah.
Which is why I wanted Banks, because I told my dad, I'm like, we've had Bayley as champion for about a year, and I can't really think of really many memorable matches from her reign.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I told my dad, I'm like, if you give Banks the title and you look at SmackDown's women's roster, I already know Banks can probably put on a bunch of good matches, especially if what my hope is, the build they do is Bianca Belair wins the Rumble and goes on to challenge Sasha at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Sorry, man, it's going to be Charlotte. You know, going in, just because Bayley's held it for over a year, I wanted Sasha to win. That was what my thinking was. I enjoyed, you know, both characters this year of shutdown kind of era.
Mm-hmm.
This was a long time coming, this match, right? That breakup. And even seeing the hype package, I was real worried that they were even hot-shotting it, you know?
Yeah.
But seeing that hype package, I thought, okay, no, this looks like it's ticking all the right boxes. Because I was even going into this thinking, this is going to be our no-finish Hell in the Cell match this year. It's an annual thing, and this is the one they're going to mess up and prolong until, like, Survivor Series.
Well, the fear I had was that either Bayley was going to retain or we were going to get a no-finish, and WWE was going to find a way to stretch this out till WrestleMania.
Ugh, right? No.
Yeah, no.
And you know what's funny? I like both women. I've enjoyed their characters generally. Sasha's a little harder to kind of like define. If you're okay with the word boss, you're like, I get her. She's the boss. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The one thing that I noticed, it was evident last night as well. If things aren't going her way, I think she gives 80%. Yesterday she gave 100%. And I think I've heard other people sort of say, she literally holds herself differently if she's going to win. If she loses, you can almost see it in the way she holds herself before and throughout the match.
Yeah.
Thankfully for us, she was going to come out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On top in this affair.
Yeah, you know, the one thing about Banks, too, is when it comes to high-stake matches, she's one of the ones that's, you know, it's what the older generation tries to prevent the newer generation from doing, and that's she's willing to throw her body on the line if it means good spots and good matches, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely a desire to do things you've never seen before in the Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because I have all these trepidations, these preconceived notions. How are you going to hurt me, WWE? But you know what? One spot almost woke me up from that, and I thought, I didn't write any notes. I said, I'm going to watch this thing. Bayley has that chair, and it says 1-0, because they fought in a Hell in a Cell before. Is that true?
No.
No, Bayley's been in one Hell in a Cell, and she's won it.
No.
I think that was wait, why would... No, hold on.
What the 1-0 was Bayley was predicting that she was going to be 1-0.
Ah.
Yeah, but only Sasha has been now the third Hell in a Cell.
That's right.
She's the only one that's been in all of them.
I heard the commentators say this is the third.
Yeah.
Sasha's been in both.
Yeah.
So Bayley's coming out and announcing she's going to be 1-0. She has it spray painted on the chair in her hand. The one she's beat Sasha up with, right? Because they've been keeping this chair safe and close. But anyway, as the cell lowers, as it goes towards the ground to encapsulate both women and the ref, Sasha knocks it out of Bayley's hand. It flies out of Bayley's hand, out of the ring, out of the cage, just as it closes. And I thought that was an absolutely incredible timing and feat. It was so good.
Yeah. And, you know, I'll say this, you know, they mentioned Banks has been in all three women's Hell in a Cell matches so far, you know. That's why going in, I at least knew this was going to be a good match, especially watching, I remember, you know, again, as I mentioned, you know, not really as interested in the Four Horsemen. I saw all the good reviews that Lynch versus Banks got last year. I was like, I'll check it out. I saw that, and so going into this one, I was like, I can trust Banks to put on a good Hell in a Cell match, you know.
I still was thinking they were going to hold back because there was some, you know, match that was going to come down the line, but they didn't hold nothing back. This was brutal. This was amazing.
Yeah.
What spots stood out to you?
How about that spot where Sasha runs up the table to hit the Meteora into the cell wall?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
How about the sunset flip power bomb into the chair that was in the corner?
Oh, yeah. You know, that to me was really cool to see because, you know, just like how a lot of things are banned in WWE, you know, you rarely see chair shots, at least to the head, you know. Most of them are always to the back, the legs, you know. Seeing someone get thrown head first into a chair like that, you know, that's a rare sight, so you gotta... Yeah. It's always exciting to see.
I really dug. Bayley goes for a kendo stick. Sasha grabs it out of her hand and throws it out the cage through like one of the bigger holes.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
I will say the one spot that I thought was going to be the finish was when Bayley sets up the ladder.
Yeah.
And then she tries to do the elbow drop with the chair, but Sasha moves out. She gets hit there. And... what was it that happens? I think Banks hits another like Meteora or something. And like I thought that was gonna be any finish, but then when I saw that wasn't, I kind of got a bit scared because I was like, don't tell me they're gonna give us another type of like anticlimactic ending that we've seen before, you know. But they really kept up the pace with this match, you know. The spots they went with were just absolutely crazy.
Which spot freaked you out the most?
Oh, you know the one where remember Sasha at first was putting the kendo sticks into the chair and onto the fence, and then she didn't get to do it, but then Bailey came and put the double ones in like the same exact spot, and she causes Sasha to flip upwards and smacks into him. What scared me was her going back down, because I was like, she's coming this way, she's going forward, and she's going to hit that thing. Her arms are not going to be going back to stop her from hitting the steps. Because I thought they were way too close, but when they
there was no space in that corner where the steps were.
Yeah, that's what scared me.
That slingshot into the canes. I 100%. I didn't even think about her falling back. Right, she can't see where her head's going, and there's no space for it. The one that freaked me out was right before it, when she runs at Bailey. Bailey drop toe sends her face first into the kendo sticks and face first into the stairs.
Right,
because she made the loudest crash, and I thought, oh, that's the one. That's the one where we'll all look back and go, oh, that match would have been good if Sasha didn't outright knock herself out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the one spot where Bailey's standing on the apron and Banks just does the twirl to do the sunset flip and throws her kind of like directly into the cell, but the first thing that hits the cell wall is Bailey's head and neck. And then she just goes crashing down.
Sasha, I don't know how she became airborne in that move, but she landed tailbone first onto the ground.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, maybe all of her blood and brain power was geared towards arms, and her legs went, well, I guess you're not standing, so we're just gonna whoop.
And she did kind of sit there for a bit to kind of wait to see if she was about to receive some jolt of pain or something.
Yeah, there was definitely a bit of a pause there, but it both pressed on.
Now the one part that did have me scratching my head.
Yes.
When Bailey starts trying to put those two kendo sticks together, I was like, and then she's trying to put them across the thing. I'm like, what are you trying to do? Didn't you practice this beforehand? I mean,
like Jack was saying, there was a real strong desire to be innovative.
Yeah.
That one seemed like it was just trying too hard, and thankfully she abandoned it. That was, because you definitely got a sense of probably you want to do something you've never seen before. Yeah. But there was plenty there. Here's my head scratcher moment. Sasha goes for a frog splash and made no attempt of separating Bailey from the chair she was reaching for. So, I don't know at what point when she's in the air does Bailey position that chair so that it blocks her. But come now, that chair was there the entire time she was climbing up them turnbuckles.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Why would you leave her with the chair right there?
Yeah,
while you're going up.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was definitely brutal, and I definitely enjoyed it. That match, to me, it was the one match that needed to sell, and it's the one match that definitely lived up to the stakes and definitely utilized the sell to its best.
Interesting you should say that, Jack, because I don't think this match needed the sell either. I think it needed to be an extreme match,
yeah.
Because all that stuff they did with the cage, they could have done with the apron or with the crowd barrier.
Yeah.
Really, they didn't go outside, they didn't go on top, and all that weapon stuff could have been, we could have done without the kendo six spots in the corner. But all that other stuff actually probably could have happened in I guess they'd call it an Extreme Rules match. It's such a boring, hardcore match. Remember those? Remember that? Remember back in the day?
Well, if you want to truly give it a like at least a name that sounds better than Extreme Rules, go with No Holds Barred.